Step into the Fieldhouse, your front row seat to legendary victories and untold stories. Hey, I'm your host, Lance Leonard, breaking down sports from the inside out, along with co-host Jimmy Lackey. It's more than just a game. It's the Fieldhouse Podcast. Hello. Welcome into the Fieldhouse Podcast. We are a production of the Kids Inc. Sports Network. Thrilled to be here as always. I'm your co-host, Lance Leonard. We got the man, and you got some TV time. We're going to have to start off with that, but just a sec here on we got Jimmy Lackey, CEO and Prez of Kids Inc. Obviously, I've got to ask my question. What's the best thing that happened to you today? We taped this fairly early, so it's got to be something.
Best thing that happened to me today.
Maybe the last 24 hours, I should start saying that to you.
Well, anytime we get to go to dinner with Father Tony, that's always a plus. We went to dinner with him last night, and I always enjoy our time with him.
What are those conversations like?
Just like me and you sitting here talking. I've known him 30 years. He's getting ready to go to Dalhart. He's being moved to Dalhart. This Sunday will be his last Sunday at St. Mary's.
How's that going to be emotional?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for a lot of folks. Yeah, it is. He's a good one, and we're all going to miss him. And
yeah. Do they make that decision on their own, or kind of where they're needed?
Bishop makes those decisions. Yeah, those are Bishop decisions, and so there's a few of them that are moving around. One from Borger going to over to San Jose and Hereford, and then Dalhart and St. Mary's are flip flopping. And
change of voice isn't always bad.
No, it's not.
But you like somebody you know very familiar there.
Yeah, you do. And, when you get appointed, he had a 6-year appointment, and he's in year 5, and you weren't expecting that move at this point in time. And so,
I got you.
He feels like there's some things he'd like to have finished up. But, he knows the business he's in, and when you get called to move somewhere else, you go, and it's the nature of the beast. And so, he was in Hereford before he came to St. Mary's, and then several other places prior to that, Shamrock, Cress.
Yeah. Wow.
They're on the move pretty regularly. It's about the time you get used to one. Don't get used to them because they're probably going to get moved, and that's just the way it is.
I didn't know it worked like that
in the Catholic Church, and so it's. But anyway, we're very close friends. I mean, he and Kim, work together every day. Her being the principal there at the school, and I just call him Mutt and Jeff. He and I were the friends first, and I'm just kind of the outsider now because I don't get much in word wise.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun to watch their dynamic, and they've become really, really close. So we'll miss him, but I've got an office in Dalhart, so I'll get to see him.
And, for sure.
And
for sure, you need to get him involved with that.
Yeah. I've already told him we'll get him in there, and he loves to walk. He walks. He goes on pilgrimages, and he takes groups to Spain, and they walk across Spain. There's different pathways that people go over to take, and he takes groups over. They'll walk 18 miles a day and see sights, and
that's interesting.
Do that for about 10 days.
Wow, that's a lot of walking.
Yeah, he does. He walks all the time. So I told him, well, we've got the perfect place because we have an indoor facility where we have a walking track, and
walking is supposed to be very, very healthy. I mean, if I get in 10,000 steps, I'm happy. Yeah. But I would like to increase that. So we'll see.
Like I said, I've known him a long time, and I've never considered him to be overly big, but he's a big man.
Yeah.
And he's told me he's lost probably 150 pounds.
Just walking
and taking better care of himself over the last 4, 5, 6 years.
That's good.
He looks great.
And,
to go and do those walks like you're talking about in Spain and places. He's going to one in Poland in March. He goes on these and takes groups, and they walk everywhere they go. They walk. So
that's insane.
I need him just to tie a rope on and drag me along.
Bring you along. Yeah, I like that. Hey, we're at number 59, Jimmy. We're getting over the. Doesn't seem that long ago we had number 50, but number 59. We have a tradition here on the Fieldhouse Podcast. We pick somebody we might have played with in high school or somebody we liked. Usually it's a pro number or somebody growing up, things like that. 59 is a really strange one. I mean, there's just not many of that great players.
Yeah.
I happened to had the opportunity of meeting Seth Joyner once. He was in town. So he wore 59. So that's one I've always looked at.
He was a good one.
Jack Ham, of course,
that's
with the Steelers.
I told you last week I had a Pittsburgh Steelers trash can in my room growing up, and
was he on
Lambert was 58 and Ham was 59. So,
Lambert and Ham, what great names for
my
linebackers.
Gosh, they were tough.
And you're a Cowboys guy, but Dat Wynn is probably I was looking this up before the show, and Dat Wynn is probably the most famous 59, believe it or not.
I wonder who the book has.
I
forgot we were recording.
I'm sure they have to have Jack Ham.
Lance and Maddie had to call me from my office. I forgot we were recording today. So I apologize.
Jack Ham has to be on 59, I would think.
Jack Ham, there he is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Notables: Todd Jones, Bob Brzezinski, Brian Williams, John Grimsley, Derek Rogers, Sean Barber, Larry Kaminsky, Dat Wynn, 59. And then the elite notables are Matt Blair, Donnie Edwards, Seth Joyner, Charlie Weaver. Charlie Weaver, I remember him from the Lions because there was a Charlie Weaver on Hollywood Squares. That's how old I am, Lance.
Yeah. Charlie Weaver, what did he look like?
The older gentleman on Hollywood Squares?
No, the Hollywood Squares guy.
Yeah, he was an older man, had a gray mustache. He was an older man. For me to tell you what he did, I couldn't tell you. I just remember he was always on Hollywood Squares. Little bitty guy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but I remember
But I
remember the Charlie Weaver from the Detroit Lions for sure.
But the names you just mentioned, that's why. I mean, they're great players and stuff, but not absolutely famous.
Yeah, they're not skill positions.
Hey, we got to kick it off today. You got TV time with the Rock Rose celebration. That's not what it's about for you. But what a wonderful event, well received among the community as well, and then they talked a lot about it on television and in the newspaper as well. What'd you think overall? What's your takeaway from experiencing? You were behind the mic the whole situation.
Yeah, well, my biggest issue that day was what time do I start talking, because I had everything timed. Because I had two of the news stations there that were going to go live at 5 on their 5 o'clock newscast. And at 5:01 is when we had agreed we'll have the kids throw the shovels in the dirt. And so, I'm putting my phone up there so I can watch. And I got to talking. I thought, I think I might have started too soon. And so I tried to slow down a little bit. And I'm watching my phone and the clock on my phone and tapping it to come on. And but, there's a lot to say. I didn't want to get knee deep into donors that day. We'll save that for the grand opening.
I think they appreciate it.
Here's why. And so I was going through the list in our donor software. Where do you stop? Where do you stop? So I pulled everything up, highest gifts down, and gifts of 25,000 or more would have been about 70 some odd gifts.
Wow.
And so, there's a time and a place. I didn't think groundbreaking was the time. I thought the groundbreaking was the time to let people know while they're standing there looking at this massive parcel of land, was to let Rock Rose folks and Matt get up there and thank them for giving us 90 acres of land. That's why I asked Matt Griffith to come up and speak that day, because when you start looking out there and realize how big this place is,
I know.
It's massive.
Yeah.
And I'm getting I guess I think I'm getting the biggest kick out of right now is, we've had some posts on our social media. We put the video out there that the architects did such a great job, because what you see in that video is what's fixing to get built. I mean, that is it. That's the final design, minus a couple of tackle football fields that'll be laid on top of those 2 regulation soccer fields. That's pretty much the design that's going to get built. And I get a kick out of these naysayers that come on there and want to just, combat everything that we're saying on there. And I get a kick out of it because I'm like, do you people not have more time on your hands to do things other than just complain? I don't get it. So in my world, if I had to be that miserable every day, man, I'm glad I get to do what I do, because
I know what athletes and coaches go through.
Yeah,
like under the eye.
It's just silly.
Yeah,
it's just silly.
What was a naysayer? What was one?
Oh, they comments like, oh, they're celebrating something that hadn't even happened or not going to happen or it's never going to happen. And I'm like,
is that right?
Oh, all the time. Yeah, and I don't pay much attention to it, but I've got people in the office that do, and they'll come in and go, Jimmy, how do you not respond to that? And I'm like, I don't have anything to say. Number one, I don't know these people.
Yeah,
they don't know me.
Yeah, exactly.
If they do, come sit down and have a conversation with me. But I don't want to waste time. I shouldn't even be wasting time on this podcast about it, because it's just fun. It's funny to me. I get a kick out of it.
But you had to love the vibe at
the day was
itself.
Oh man, to look out from my vantage point where I was standing, I felt like I was very removed because I wanted those kids front and center.
Yeah,
that was the whole picture.
Yeah,
The $1 million picture of the day was those kids with those shovels in their hands, and and the other part was I wanted the guests to be able to stay on concrete. I didn't want them to have to get out in the dirt. And so that's why we set it up the way we did. And then, John Kritzer brought the big rigs out behind and
it looked good.
Made a great backdrop, and Joe's video board was fantastic. But there was a lot of folks there. I mean, I don't know how many people text messaged me that evening or the next morning that I never even saw, because as soon as I got done, I had one of the news stations wanted an interview,
Right.
and then I stayed for the 6 o'clock news out there live with one of the others, because they wanted to do one, because I had Craig do the 5 o'clock ones.
Yeah.
And so I stayed and did the 6
So
o'clock.
Craig's doing them. Ron and I are leaving, and Craig's doing it, and I'm jumping. He I don't know if he told you this, but I'm jumping up behind him trying to distract him,
That's
like
funny.
like a little kindergartner. And he held his
he did a great job.
He held his water, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't tell him till either the day of or the day before. I said, "Oh, by the way, you're doing the 5 o'clock interviews. I'll do the 6s." He's like, "Okay," and he did a great job.
Yeah,
But
that was fun.
it
I stood behind I was telling Maddie before we came on today. I stood behind the little cheerleaders. Okay,
Mhm.
I was just back behind there, and one of them was just, like a 5 or 7 year old, or should be. You know what I mean? Like just itching to get that shovel and turned around like, hey, when do we get to do this? You know what I mean? How much longer? You know, and the cheerleading sponsor was there, and she did a great job with him. But we tried to, we had him do a.
Oh, you were standing over there with Maddie, because Maddie used to work with us.
Go Jimmy, go! Yeah, chant. We had that going on, and then, but that little girl was amazing. She was just firing off questions.
I'm sentimental in this way, and so I know it won't be the case for all of them, but I really hope that those parents would put those shovels away for those kids.
Yeah, I hope they do too. Some of them will. Some of them will.
And someday,
You know what I mean?
someday that one of those kids, if just one of them gets to pull that thing out when they're coaching their kid and saying, "I was here when
When it started.
that's the whole
I tell you what, though,
mentality for me.
these little kindergarten or first grade or second grade cheerleaders, they went to town.
Yeah,
They were digging.
Yep.
They did an amazing
So
job.
I got
was
to
like,
see
oh
lots
my
of different
gosh.
videos. I saw.
It's not like one little scoop. They were there for like 5 or 6 times. Hey, we're going to clear this out.
They had a couple of drones out there, and the architect sent me some drone footage. And there were some that threw the dirt a little higher than others, and depending on which direction you were standing, where the wind was blowing. And it was a beautiful day. We couldn't have asked for a nicer day because we had a little bit of rain that morning, and it kind of tampered down
nice.
the dirt. And so
a lot of the dignitaries there, and then the little baseball team across from us, man, they cleared theirs out.
Yeah,
they cleared every ounce of their dirt
funny.
out. You know what I mean? Until they were done.
Well, I appreciate all those parents and coaches coming out to do that, because that's what it was about for me.
Yeah,
it's about kids, and it's like I was telling the audience. I'm sitting where I'm standing. My family's standing off over here, and I can see them. I can see my grandkids. They're jumping in and out of the bucket on the tractor rig over there, but I'm sitting there, and Kennedy's holding my granddaughter June.
and
I'm sitting there going, okay, 30 years ago this month, I was interviewing for this job, and Kim was 2 months pregnant with Kennedy.
wow.
And if you don't think time goes by fast, I'm sitting there staring at it.
Yeah.
Now, there's my daughter, 29 years old, will be 30 in May, holding my granddaughter.
Yeah.
30
That's
years
amazing.
goes fast.
Yeah.
And that's what was going through my head the whole time is these kids right here, man, 30 years from now, they're going to be coaching their kids, and it's going to go fast. For
Yeah,
these
it is going to go
parents.
fast. Yeah.
And I hope they soak that in, because that very moment when I looked over and saw Kennedy holding my granddaughter, it really soaked in fast with me.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
so
a great great
4
memory.
of the 6 search committee members that hired me came that day.
Wow.
Velda came from Dallas,
Wow.
and Doug Condor was out there. Paul Williamson was out there.
I didn't see Paul.
Paul was out there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mitch didn't make it, and David Park called me and told me that he was going to have to be out of town. I'm leaving somebody out. Oh, Michael David. I didn't even see Michael everybody said, I had several people said they saw Michael. He texted me that evening. I didn't see him, but Michael David was out there. But 4 of the 6 members on that search committee,
That's
30
pretty
years
cool.
ago,
Yeah, I didn't see all those
were
guys
out there. So I appreciated them.
I'm not sure
in.
I'd recognize them or they would recognize me. It's been a bit.
I hadn't seen Paul in a long time. It was good to see Paul. I see Doug from time to time, and I see Michael.
Yeah.
See Mitch. I don't see Velda often. I see her occasionally. She's been doing a lot of mission work in Kenya.
Wow.
And so when we have extra T-shirts, we send them with her, and they ship them over to Kenya. And she sent us pictures back from the orphanages in Kenya
Wearing
with all those.
Kids Inc.
Oh, yeah, there's some great pictures of those kiddos wearing our shirts over there. So, and that means a lot to her for us to, to send some of those to take.
It was a
fun day.
Yeah, it was a fun day. Moving on from that, but not moving on, but so dirt will be being moved as we drive by there here soon.
We've got a meeting Thursday morning. We've got a meeting with the construction team to go over the timeline. D.E. Rice, which won the dirt contract, my understanding is sometime around the 23rd of this month, which would be 9 days from now or so, they plan on getting started. And so 72 acres of dirt. I asked their guy the other day when we were there, because I know they're going to, or at least I was told they're going to start over on the Coulter side and work from west to east, because that if you're looking at it from Coulter, that dirt goes downhill toward I-27, and so they'll move that dirt to raise the level up. And so I asked him, I said, how deep are you going? You got to be going, what, 6? He goes, yeah, probably 6 or 8 feet deep will go on that end.
Wow.
And they'll move that dirt that direction to raise the rest up to the level that it needs to be so that it's level. And I said, so you're going to hit caliche? And he goes, oh, yeah, we'll get down into caliche. I said, good. I need a little small trailer load of caliche. He goes, well, it's your dirt. I said, well, it doesn't belong to me, but I'm going to claim about a little trailer load.
Why caliche?
Because I've got a spot out at my shop that runs off, and that packs real well. You see on caliche roads all the time.
Front of a fence or something where you get a lot of activity?
Yeah, and so I'm going to go in those little ditches and fill those in with caliche and pack it down. It doesn't run off as much as other things does.
Wow.
And so
okay.
I just need a little, probably 20 buckets of, 5-gallon buckets of caliche, but I need a little bit of caliche. But, yeah, he said they'll be going down 6 or 8 feet. They'll definitely hit caliche in our world here.
And so the dirt moving process takes?
They said 130 days.
130 days, okay.
So that
I thought it'd be longer than that.
Well, I think that's
I
think that's one of the reasons that this company.
Still, that's 4.5 months.
It is.
That's a lot of.
But movement. I think other companies maybe's bid were longer and quite frankly were a little more expensive. But my understanding is this bunch, and I don't know anything about dirt contractors, but this one, John Kritzer, who owns Yellow House and people like that, they said this bunch can move dirt, and so John was excited they got the bid. I'm clueless about dirt contractors.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you the.
I know from what I've heard they're really, really good, and so apparently they can move a lot of dirt
in a hurry
in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting.
They've anticipated they probably will save us a month on the end timeline when it's all said and done, and I'll take it.
Yeah. The timeline. I mean, it's an impossible question to answer, but. Do you want to be up and running in 2 years? Is that realistic?
They've told us 18 to 20 months. So I'm thinking by this time, fall 27, we ought to be playing on it for sure. Might be playing some baseball tournaments summer of 27.
Yeah. Just to get it going.
Yeah. And so
that's kind of cool.
If 18 months holds, we're March.
Yeah.
Of 27. But
you
got to figure in some weather, and we're due to have some bad weather here somewhere.
For sure.
And we've had a ton of rain this year, too.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see us get a whole bunch more. So we'll see how it goes. But, they're saying 18 to 20 months. And if it fell within that timeline, that'd tickle me to death.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I mean, just being out there was exciting in the fact that, kind of knowing what's going to happen eventually. It was just like, wow. But everybody was there like, yeah, it's time. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There were a lot.
And we've still got money to raise.
A lot of dignity. Yeah, we got money to raise.
We got money to raise. And you're on the board. We've had these conversations.
Yeah.
But it was time. It was time to put our donor dollars to work.
Yeah.
And, and I made no bones about this. I have a deep faith, and I have no doubt that's what's going to sustain us in the end is this community will come forward, and we'll finish up what we need to with this campaign. And when we get opened up, it'll be it'll be ready to go.
It was all walks of life out there too. That was the cool thing for me most, really, just seeing youth, kids, elderly people, everybody.
Apparently, again, another group that I didn't see, but there's a company called CEI, and they're a design team that helped put the plan together on paper for the blueprint of the complex, and they told our architects that they've been to hundreds and thousands of groundbreakings and never been to one like this one before.
Really?
Not as personable as this one was, as community driven as this one was, and as many people from the community represented at that.
Everybody
at that
was
event.
Represented. Yeah,
they said they'd never seen one like that, and they're from Dallas, and so, but they work with our architects here, Sims Architects.
I saw Ross Macon out there. You know what I mean?
Emerald National Bank had a huge contingency out
Yeah.
there. They got a picture with a bunch of their employees I saw, and they probably had 20 employees out there from the bank. Yep.
Nice to see them all out there.
Yeah.
So, I loved it. I loved every second of it. So, thanks for the insights. It was good. You did a great job. You should be proud of that one. And, I mean, I tell you what, it was cool. It was just cool. You know what I mean?
Well, like I said, this is a continuation of what Cal Farley started 80 years ago. That's the bottom line. This is just another sustaining piece for his legacy to continue on, and for decades beyond you and I that will be here. And so it's just another notch in his feather for
No,
for
that's
him.
cool. Yeah, very much so. Very much so. So, congrats on that.
Thanks.
And we'll keep you guys updated what's going on. And if you're interested in donating, just get a hold of this piqued your interest. Just get a hold of Jimmy here at Kids Inc. He'll guide you through whatever options you would like. So, hey, I got a couple things for you today, if you don't mind, though. I don't know if you saw the little spat after the Texas Tech game with the Kansas coach, Lance Leopold, and Joey McGuire over the throwing of the tortillas. There happened to be a pocket knife that was also found on the sideline of Kansas that coach said, the Kansas coach said, I think it deflected off of, it wasn't open, off of one of their personnel. You know what I mean? The Big 12 told Texas Tech before the season started, they had the vote. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the athletic director, Kirby Hocutt, let's get his name correct, Lance, at Texas Tech, he was the one sustaining vote. That made it not unanimous, okay? To avoid throwing things on the field. My thought is simply this. I think you tell everybody you can throw them after the opening kickoff. That's the tradition. And then if anybody else throws them again, you're escorted out. And you have to – if you can spend all this time and energy on NIL and having the Palace of the Plains there in Lubbock with one of the most eye-opening facilities to dress in, to practice in, let alone the stadium itself. If you can spend all that time and money, buy this team, then get control of your tortilla throwing.
Yeah.
I know it's a tradition. Traditions go by the wayside. It's no longer somebody brought a few tortillas in throwing. It's being bombarded. The opposing team should be able to stand on that sideline and not worry about getting hit in the back. I know it's a tortilla.
Sure.
It's not going to it's not going to hurt you, obviously. But I think it's going to get worse before it gets better until something is done. Now it's out in the public. College students are college students.
Yeah.
And they get a little alcohol in them. They don't give a crap about anything. You know what I mean? So, but I'm offended by it right now. As a representative, here's what it's doing. It's taking away from what you're doing on the football field as well. Here's our conversation, not about it being ranked in the top 10, not about them being undefeated, not about playing Arizona State. It's about these tortilla throwing that's going on. But if life is like that, if it's banned, it's banned. Okay, life changes.
Yeah.
So what's your thought?
Well, it needs to be curtailed because it's penalizing the team.
Yeah, they got penalized twice, by the way, during the game.
Yeah, and so, but here's my
They could have been penalized 5 or 10, Jimmy.
Here's my other question. Okay, and I'm just playing a little bit of devil's advocate.
No, I like it.
And I don't think
fire away.
No, but I don't think for a minute this is the norm. But I'm just saying, we talk about they get a little juiced before the ball game and they show up in the student section. What if it's a Kansas?
Truth.
What if it's a
you
Kansas
escort them out?
Yeah, exactly. And there's no repercussion for them because they're going back to Kansas. They don't care.
That's all right.
They can go watch
how many of that are you going to realistically
That's what I'm saying. Not very many.
100 of them, maybe.
But I just think that they've got if they're going to shut it down, I agree with you 100%. Then they got to go in there and shut it down.
Yeah. So what my thought is, you got to almost go Gestapo, and you got to almost hire like 25 policemen.
Yep.
You have 5 in each section, and when one is thrown out there, you just go get that person. It's not going to be pretty, but just escort them out.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to take a lot of heat from some friends of mine with Tech. Let's just be honest. Tech fans can be a little ruthless.
Little.
I'm just
okay,
saying.
You're being kind there.
I
love
seen
going
it.
down to a game.
I
there.
do
I'm
too.
just going to tell you, but
I'm not stupid enough to wear the opposing garb. And
yeah,
so,
no.
But I've watched what they do to those that
Isn't
do wear.
that sad though? What you just said, you cannot wear your team's colors in there.
Yeah, you don't
without being cussed out.
Yep.
Without being chastised.
I've seen it.
Yeah, me too. I've seen it in Texas.
You know,
I was with a man who brought his kid there who loved the Texas Longhorns, 5th grader.
Yeah.
You would have thought the kid was 55. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? The way he was being abused. So.
And again, it's that minority.
Yeah,
it's the minority. Whether it's the students, but it's not your donors. It's not your average Joe fan that's going and pulling this off. But it's going to end up something. The pocket knife deal I had not heard about.
Yeah,
you know, and who knows how that happened. But the best way to curtail it is to shut it down.
Yeah.
And, you know.
What do you think of my idea? Let them throw them. You announced to Kansas, look, we have this tradition. We're throwing tortillas after the opening kickoff, okay? It's what we've always done. We'll clean them, get them out of your way, game on. Any more than we will be penalized.
Have 4 or 5 student organizations ready to go as soon as it happens, clean them up, be done with it.
Yeah.
That's a tradition issue. It's long-standing, move on and go on. But after that, you know, in this day and time, it's one accident away from there being a big issue.
And
that's when it's going to come back to haunt Tech really bad, as if
does
something does
happen. And the Kansas
happen.
coach, Jimmy, had an excellent point. Like, okay, so they've penalized them twice, but they could have done it. So where's the line they're drawing? What all of a sudden constitutes a penalty? Because they could have done it 4 or 5 times, maybe 6 or 7 times, and they did it twice.
Here's my comment, and this is just maybe it's a little advice. You're ranked 7th in the country. Act like it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, McGuire,
be proud of it and act like it.
In the conversation as coaches do, it's so loud they kind of whisper something in the ear when they met, and the Kansas coach was in Joey McGuire's ear, and then Joey just bounces back like, what do you want me to do about it?
Yeah.
Well, we want you to stop it, Joey, okay? You are the head of that program. You go to midfield, you get on a microphone, and you give one of your speeches, and you say, this is not going to happen on our turf. We are number 7 in the nation. We're proud of that. We're undefeated. Let's act like it, like you just said. I mean, you literally go to center field with a microphone. You put your mug up there on the big screens, and everybody's going to see it. And, there's going to be guys that say, no, I'm going to do my own thing. But you have done your part by doing that.
That's what it's going to take. And unfortunately, that's not something that he should have to deal with.
No, I agree.
But you're right.
I agree.
He is probably
but Tech
the one.
Tech is kind of meandered around. You got voted down. They got voted down about throwing stuff on the field, blah, blah, blah. So deal with it. If you were one of the voting members,
sure,
so we're proud of you, Kirby. You voted no, okay? That I'm not. You voted.
I'll take
it
one step further. It's not going to happen, but this would be classic. Cody Campbell gets on the big screen and says, "Boys, you do it again, and I'm shutting it off."
Ooh,
that's not going to happen. You're still going to have that handful that's not going to pay attention to anybody, so it doesn't matter who's making the announcement. But I'm just saying, you get somebody like that, the Matador Club comes in and says, "Boys, if we keep this up, we're going to shut it down." That'll make an impact.
I like that.
It won't happen, but
I like
the coach is going to have to be the one to do it because he's
and
shouldn't have to be.
No, shouldn't have to, but do it and be assertive though, not this little happy-go-lucky. Oh, guys, they're mad at us. We know you guys, because they're allowing it to happen. Really.
Well, if you look at their schedule
now, and here's the other thing. What about checking for tortillas as you go in? That would be.
That's my question all along.
That'd be 2 hours though. You'd have to get in line.
I look at it this way, and I've just gone through and looked at the rest of their schedule earlier in the weekend, and I mean they have a legitimate chance to go undefeated.
Oh yeah,
and win the Big 12,
Arizona State and BYU,
and be in the big boy talk.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, they have every opportunity to be there. Don't let something silly be the drawback that causes something. One penalty in a game. Maybe they're playing somebody that they ought to beat by 50, and they're having a bad day, and it's tied up, and all of a sudden you get a penalty.
Great point.
I mean, don't be.
I mean, you're starting at the.
Don't
40.
put your team in that. Yeah, don't put your team in that situation.
Yeah. No, I like it a lot.
Crazy deal, but.
Speaking of crazy deals, firing coaches mid-season.
Ooh.
Penn State coach James Franklin got fired. They're 3-3, 0-3 in the Big Ten. Just 9 months ago, he was in the college football playoff. Tennessee Titans coach gets fired. Brian Callahan, they're 1-5. There's more out there, obviously. Trent Dilfer, at a lower level, got fired.
Saw that.
What do you think about this midseason firing? What changes from August 1st to October 15th or wherever we're at, October 14th? If you're the leader of a group and 90 days changes your impression on what's going on, I don't get it. I do not get it. You do this at the end of a season.
I suspect that it's pressure from donors. That's my first go-to. Is you've got some big donors involved just saying enough's enough. I go back to players, and what does that do to your player morale? I mean, they're already, beat down.
Yeah.
And now you're going to go and make a change here. Is it coming from the locker room? I don't know. Franklin's an elite coach.
Yeah,
he's very cerebral.
11 years there.
Very cerebral. Pulled them out of a very difficult situation back in the day.
Yeah.
After O'Brien left and the Sandusky issue and all that kind of stuff that went on back then. And, he's put them on a reputable program. And this just goes to prove it's what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
That's the kind of world that those coaches live in.
And his buyout was.
I was just fixing to say, I'm coming to work yesterday morning to listen to Big D and Bubba, and they're talking about it, and he's having to explain. I don't remember who's talking, Big D or Bubba, but he's going. He gets $660,000 a month from now till 2031. He goes, he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And the other one's going, wait, what?
Yeah.
He goes, let me break it down to you. He's getting $49,000 a day from now till 2031 to step aside, and the other one goes, fire me now for that. I'll take that right now,
Yeah, it's 50.
So don't feel sorry.
$55 million or something.
49
million,
$49 million plus his salary.
Which I think now in the future, I think you have to challenge these. Anybody can do what they want with their money, but you have to challenge these institutions.
Yeah.
Who throw away $49 million by firing a coach.
Well, it's the second largest one since Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah.
I mean, his is what, 70-some-odd million?
I know, man. A&M, yeah. A&M's happy right now, though. So
think about it, though. Let's just put ourselves in this shoe right now. We need a little bit more to finish a project here, a little bit more. And you got programs like that tossing $50 million away like it's chump change. That hurts. I mean, that from an accountability standpoint, I have a little bit of an issue with that. I don't think firing a coach in the middle of the season does any good. I personally just don't.
Yeah. Unless they've done something really wrong.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for breach of contract or something along that.
Yeah.
But prior to the bowl game, I got no problem with it. After the season's over, regular season's over, and you want to make a change before the bowl games, I get it because that's a recruiting issue. But mid-season, I'm not sure I get it. And I'm sure that each individual situation has its own merits, but I just wonder what that does to the locker room. I mean, I'm sitting here watching Oklahoma State play. Why do you want to get up and go play? They're They're not playing for anything.
Yeah.
And their crowd.
Love of the game, yeah.
Have you seen the crowds?
Yeah, they're way down, obviously. Some of them are making pretty good NIL money, though.
Sure they are. So, it's a different game. Yeah, you're right. It is. Right. It's a different time.
With the firing of Brian Callahan, by the way, with the Titans, Jimmy, the last 4 number 1 picks at QB, I saved this for you, at QB had coaches who were fired during their rookie season. It'd be Cam Ward with Brian Callahan, Caleb Williams, Washington, Matt Eberfluss. I'm probably saying that wrong. Some of these coaches, you're like, I thought I knew the NFL, and then they throw up a head coach name. Really? And then in 2023,
is that Chicago?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then 2023, Bryce Young and Frank Reich.
Yep.
And then in 2021, I know it's not that long ago, but it seems like forever. Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer was the coach who got fired. So the last 4 number 1 picks.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of a crazy.
Again, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
That's the world.
I don't like it. I mean, I don't think it sets a great example, but it is what it is right now, as they say, because it's kind of the style. Like you said, what have you done for me lately? But Penn State, you know what I mean? 0-3, so you have 3 bad weeks.
Rick Cooper and I used to talk about this because I just asked him. I said, I don't mean this literally, but you have to babysit 18, 19, 20-year-old young men, 21-year-old young men. You've got to keep them going to class. You got to keep them sober. You got to keep them going to bed at a decent hour, and you got to get them ready to practice next day and go on a trip to go play a ball game. That's a difficult situation. People don't understand just that part of it from a coach's perspective of all the things that they have to do, most importantly, making their grades to stay eligible, and the pressures that are on coaches to do that, and the time that they have to spend with study hours and things of that nature. Now, in this day and time, you've got this NIL money and all this other stuff that even accentuates all those things that they could be going and doing on their own. And I'm like, I don't know how you keep that in check. I don't know how in the world a football coach or basketball coach keeps a handle on somebody that's been handed
that's why
a
you
chunk
see
of money.
You see 15 coaches on the Division I benches, and you're like, what do these guys do? Well, that's what they do.
I don't know if this
pretty
is
much
true or
assign
not, but I was reading over the weekend, and the only reason I did is because we went through Cross Plains. Going to Brownwood. We had to go to a wedding this weekend. Didn't have to, but we got to go to a wedding this weekend. So we're coming back through Cross Plains, and I read a story, and I hope this is true, that Baron Morton used his NIL money to purchase 150 acres of land somewhere around Cross Plains to start a hunting lease down there.
That's very true.
Great investment.
Yeah.
Smart move. Somebody coached that, whether it's Cody Campbell or somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody helped coach him, probably James, his dad. What a great investment.
Yeah.
That made me happy. That's an example of an NIL deal gone well.
You don't think somebody from Penn State or Miami, Florida would do that?
Well, probably not.
I know.
But
that's true. And then Barron got hurt in this past game, which is tough to watch. But
you hope that there's more of that we don't hear about.
Yeah.
I just heard about it because I know his dad. And so. And if that's true,
no, that's what everybody says. I think he's told the story himself at Media Day.
That's a fantastic story to tell future athletes. Make an investment.
Yeah, no, totally. Make an investment and then you got to pay taxes,
especially real estate.
Yeah,
I mean you can't go typically wrong with real estate.
Not typically, and then you got to pay taxes on that. A lot of those when they were getting the $25,000 each Tech player.
Yeah, but if you got a good hunting lease and you got people wanting to come, you'll get those taxes paid just fine.
In a hurry. In a hurry. I will say this. I don't want to be too hard on Joey McGuire. We learned this week that so when they fly, there's like 20 first-class seats. Well, some of those guys are massive, on that offensive and defensive front. Like I think they have a 6'7", 340-pound lineman or 6'8", and the coaches allow, and I don't know quite how they choose them, but they allow those guys to sit in first class for comfort rather than being in coach. So I love that about that staff at Texas Tech.
I would like to be in that group.
Yeah.
I don't like the coach seats.
Yeah,
they don't fit me well.
Yeah. No, but isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's That's just being kind.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
And I think Joey McGuire, deep down, is just kind.
Yeah.
But let's get a hold on those tortillas, okay? Yeah. So, hey, let's hop out of here on this one. This is really good news. I know you go to a bunch of the West Texas A&M football games. Exciting, much more exciting team we've had probably in the last 5 to 7 years even. Let's
offensively for sure, and then defense plays well too, but they're fun to watch move the ball.
Yeah. Anyway, UTBP, if you're a Division II person, that's down in the Permian Basin, down there in Odessa, and Angelo State both lost last week. Our buddy Scott Parr with Texas A&I takes Kingsville got it done over Angelo State, big upset there. But anyway, here's the standings all of a sudden. Central Washington 4-0. We know how good they are. WT, UTPB, and Western Oregon each 3-1.
That's awesome.
So if the Buffs get on a roll here at the end, this may be an impact season for Josh Lynn. It's right there right now though. And Eastern New Mexico's coming this week with the wagon wheel game. But that we haven't been able to say that in a long time.
No.
So I just want to give a shout out to the Buffs. Here it sits in front of him. Things are kind of falling in place, and they're just getting better. They just are getting better.
Well, they're fun to watch. I'll tell you that. I went after that first ball game, and we had a chance to win against Colorado School of Mines. Their punter killed us. He put us inside the 10 3 times, and we gave them short fields, but lost that one by 2. And they played for the national title 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But this quarterback, his receiving core, they can move the ball, they can run the ball. They keep their defense guessing, and then our defense, I think, plays as well as any defense that we've had in the last 5 years for sure.
Nice. And
they're just fun to watch.
Last 2 home games, real quick, Jimmy. Not to butt in, I apologize, but and you're part of it. The crowds have been really, really good, and the kids. The players, they're not kids, they're young men, but I know how much they appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, it makes a big difference, especially in that stadium, because you're right there. There's not a bad seat in our stadium. You're right there on the playing field, and you're close to the action. And but it's a good brand of football to watch. Wagon wheel game is always, you can just throw out the books and throw out all the records.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be a battle, and so. Be a good game to come watch Saturday night.
Yeah, and support them. And they win their 4-1, and still have a couple of key games left where they head-to-head where they can prove themselves to be the contender to win that Lone Star Conference.
I need to call Alan. Alan Wardis is coming to the Kingsville game because he and Scott Parr are tight. And so he's going to come up. We need to see if we can get him to come on the podcast. I'll get in touch with Alan.
By the way,
might see if him and Mike could both come.
That would be a great conversation.
That'd be fun with both
we would
of them.
just sit here and let them take
Absolutely.
over. Trust us.
Yeah.
Those two guys.
Let me just see if I can get that to happen.
Can hold any conversation. Yeah. I love that. And by the way, when Scott Parr comes, that'll be November 1st game on
Correct.
October 31st. Down in Plainview, you will have Scott Parr, who would quarterback Plainview Bulldogs, and I think maybe a state semifinal game, maybe his team. Then you have Seth, who coaches Anna right now, won a state championship there. And by the way, the freshman running back for Kingsville is an Anna grad, okay?
Oh, wow.
So little Parr helped older Parr. He rushed for 150 yards and a couple of touchdowns. So,
okay.
But anyway, real quick, Seth is at Anna, Jimmy, and they play on Thursday night. So he's going to be up there on Friday. Scott plays at WT on Saturday, so he'll be able to break away from the team shortly on Friday night. And then their dad, obviously, Steve Parr, they're all three going into the Plainview Hall of Fame that night.
That's excellent.
And they're going to all be there, even though they're in the middle of 2 of their seasons.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Very, very
fantastic.
Cool. So, yeah.
And deservingly so.
Deservedly so. So,
yeah.
Anything else you want to add today?
I'm really happy for Scott. I'm glad he got a head job. Salinas is now the AD down there. Mike coached with Coach Carthel here. As on the defensive side of the ball when Donnie first started here, and then he became head coach at Kingsville, and then got the AD's job and moved Scott up into that.
Scott coached here, obviously, with Donnie as well.
Coached at Tech for years, and so I'm happy for Scott to get a head job, and that won't be his last.
No.
He'll get an opportunity to do more.
That was an impact win for him in that first year. You know what I mean? That's where
Rich Renner's playing him well over in Midwestern too.
Yes.
Rich coached for us many years ago too, and so he and Jennifer are friends, and always wish them well unless they're playing the Buffs. And so,
yeah.
yeah,
I love that. Yeah, it's a small world.
it is.
But it's a great world. So, hey, thanks for coming in today, Jimmy. I enjoyed the conversation. Really, really wonderful news on Rock Rose. You crushed that whole day and event, and it's going to continue that way. But I guess we're done for the day. 60's up next. Do you already have 60?
Nope, I'm going to have to think about that.
I have an old school 60 just
So
off
you
the
got
top
one?
of my head.
I'll have to do a little research.
I mean, yeah. And you'd be surprised, a kid growing up in Colorado, I hope it's 60. I'll have to double check that. But, enjoyed a linebacker at the University of Texas out of the blue there. So
there
we'll,
you go.
We'll see what, yeah. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you, if you have any questions for us, you see us on the street and you want somebody to come in and visit with us, we would love that. But just want to remind you today, we are a production of the Kids Inc. Sports Network, and this was the Fieldhouse Podcast. We'll see you when we see you.